Es un gran honor para mí poder participar en este evento por invitación de China National Publications Import and Export Corporation. Mira, aquí. Junto con tantos amigos como el profesor Gustavo Girado, profesor Watson Rai, el profesor David Castrillón, es una gran alegría. El profesor Gustavo Girado tiene una producción muy importante, una referencia para todos los que estudiamos China en América Latina. Yo he preparado un texto acá, pero un texto en inglés, porque como todos sabemos, yo hablo portuñol. En esta manera, yo pido licencia para empezar la lectura de este texto. Launched in 2013 by Chinese President Xi Jinping, the Belt and Road Initiative brings back the ancient Silk Road, now updated for the 21st century, to implement maritime trade routes, develop new links, and improve economic and cultural development cooperation among its members. Latin America countries started to join the initiative in 2017, and now 19 of them have signed Memorandum of Understanding with China. As defined at the second ministerial meeting of the China-CELAC Forum, the region is the natural extension of BRI. It has its relevance for the maritime Silk Road of the 21st century. Due to the geopolitical proximity to the region, the American reaction is one of distrust. The four largest economies in Latin America are Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. These economies represent 70% of the region's GDP, but none signed an agreement with Belt and Road Initiative, revealing that the initiative still raises doubts. These four countries have full bilateral cooperation agreements with China and receive Chinese infrastructure projects. However, it should be noted that Argentina is very close to formally joining it. Despite some countries being outside the BRI, mutual trust between China and Latin America is increasingly consolidated. President Xi Jinping has visited the region 5 times and held extensive and in-depth dialogues with its leaders on bilateral and multilateral occasions, such as the G20 and the BRICS, carry out a comprehensive partnership based on equality, mutual benefit, and common progress. It is a partnership that advances in all aspects by creating dialogue platforms about political parties, infrastructure, agriculture, companies, science, technology, and innovation, think tanks, law, and environment, etc. Since the pandemic's beginning, the Chinese government has maintained a dialogue with heads of state in the region, reaching an important consensus on the joint fight against the COVID-19. China has donated to Latin America countries more than 27 million health supply items, such as masks, protective gauze, and test kits, and organizing more than 30 video conferences to exchange experience and support these countries in the acquisition of large quantities of materials. Laboratories on both sides maintain partnerships in vaccine research against the new coronavirus. It is worth remembering that in 2018, the volume of trade between China and Latin America surpassed 300 billion for the first time. In the 2015-2020 period, China maintained its position as the second largest trading partner in the region and the largest trading partner for Brazil, Chile, Peru, Uruguay, and more recently, China. Another important fact is that Latin America is the second largest destination for Chinese investments, only behind Asia. Of the 35 billion credit line for the region, more than 22 has already been carried out, benefiting more than 110 projects in more than 20 Latin America and Caribbean countries in a wide range of sectors, such as infrastructure, technology, information, and productive capacity. Brazil-China Cooperation Fund for the expansion of productive capacity, with a contribution of $20 billion, also provides support for specific bilateral cooperation projects. Different political actors express different reactions and enthusiasm about Belt and Road initiatives in Latin America. But it is essential to emphasize the importance of China and Latin America resuming development exchange in a relationship of equality and capacity to carry out projects. Trains, transport, and airports are among the much needed projects. The new coronavirus pandemic has indeed interrupted and affected BRI and in Latin America, along with its investments in infrastructure. However, it is worth noting that BRI has increasingly gone beyond traditional infrastructure investments in projects. It can say that the pandemic accelerated the process of reframing BRI, which has intensified efforts in the so-called new infrastructure and explored new forms of cooperation with BRI, Digital, and the Belt and Road Initiative of Health. Since 2009, the People's Republic of China has been Brazil's main trade partner, and during the last decade, it has also become the country's biggest investor. Considering Brazil is Latin America's largest state, it may be viewed as a focal point in the region. Therefore, it has a vital role in strengthening the region's relations with China. But Brazil has lost space to China in South America. Within the Belt and Road logic, Brazil must necessarily turn its gaze and attention to the region, not to serve as a counterpoint to China, but rather to deepen cooperation with the Asian country. Brazilian foreign policy should focus on the region to deepen Sino-Brazilian relations as well. Unfortunately, the current Brazilian government's foreign policy seems to have taken the opposite path. In 2013, I had the opportunity to participate in a meeting in Beijing, whose theme was precisely the relationship between China and Latin America. Researchers from South America think tanks attended this event. On that occasion, Chinese friends asked me if Brazil would participate in an expanded forum between China and Latin America. I stated that the particularities of Brazil and its then foreign policy of valuing Mercosur would not see that forum as a priority. In 2014, at the BRICS summit in Brazil, the then President Dilma Rousseff invited the UNASUR, the international organization created here in South America, UNASUR countries, to the outreach dialogues within the BRICS summit. This invitation reinforced my assessment exposed to Chinese friends in the previous year. In short, China wanted to privilege the dialogue with CELAC, Latin American and Caribbean countries, and Brazil wanted to reposition this dialogue for UNASUR. Historically, the relationship with South America's neighbors has always been beneficial to Brazil. However, since 2018, the country seems to have started distancing itself from the countries in the region. Since then, it can note that the other Mercosur members and Latin American nations began to seek to reduce their dependence on the Brazilian market. Argentina and Mexico, for example, have consolidated their alliance and are trying to fill the leadership vacuum left by Brazil. Of course, Alberto Fernandez and Andrés Manuel López Obrador constantly visit each other to reaffirm their ideological affinities and plans for leadership. Anyway, this is not just a dispute over who will take Brazil's place, but an articulation about the capacity of the region and CELAC to strengthen themselves as a whole. These are multilateral concerns are at the root of Mercosur and other international forums. But this does not seem to be the concern of the Brazilian government. Again, in April 2019, President Bolsonaro announced that Brazil was officially leaving UNASUR. In March 2020, he announced Brazil was also quitting CELAC. So under the Bolsonaro government, neither Latin America nor South America is a priority, and not even Mercosur. Thus, Brazil's relationship with China has become limited to a bilateral level. Even with these detailed factors, the South America countries lack regional diplomacy and a clarity that the relationship with a country like China will have more significant gains if resized to the Chinese appetite for business in the region. Given the current scenario of far-right governments and the political tension between China and the US, it is urgent to establish forums for dialogue on Belt and Road Initiative with the Latin America people, taking BRICS and its several forums as an example. An institution like UNASUR could organize Belt and Road Initiative forums if these international organizations still had the formal means to carry out such an initiative. The future of South America depends on a stable and a prosperous relationship between its countries. China can be an ally and essential support for reorganizing a political and economic agenda in South America and also Latin America. Belt and Road Initiative should be debated to build greater cooperation and greater regional integration, which the South Americas can boost in alliance with the Chinese country. To finish here, among the 10 largest economies in the world, China was the only one that had positive growth in 2020 of around 2.3%. And the forecast for this year is above 6%. Undoubtedly, the relationship with China through Belt and Road Initiative can offer Latin America countries opportunities for trade exchange with the Chinese economy and relief from the perverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. So these are my very brief thoughts that I would like to share with you about the Belt and Road Initiative in Latin America in the context of this special event in honor of the book of my friend Gustavo Girado. Thank you very much.